Hey, you guys, on today's show, we're going to talk about the explosive hearing that RFK had to endure the other day and talk about a group that desperately wants to get rid of him. Then we're going to discuss what the actual freak out is that Democrats are doing over the DC cleanup and coming to a blue city near you. We're going to talk about what the real motivation is there. And then finally, I have a liberal white woman alert for you. And it's in the form of this Kendra girl who fell in love with her psychiatrist. I wanted to give you my take on that. So stick around for all that today on The Angela Box Show.
Hello, my name is Angela Box.
So you're fucking lying.
Okay, so RFK had to endure basically a virtual anal probe last week in the Senate Health Committee or whatever, and of course they brought him out there because they want to fire. They wanted him to explode and implode so that Trump will be like, God, that was really bad. Let me get rid of this guy. But that did not happen. It did not happen, ladies and gentlemen. And RFK certainly handled his own. And it really is wild to me to watch Democrats who have basically kissed the ass of every single Kennedy ever since Joseph P. Kennedy made his family a household name and made them royalty within Democrat circles. It is really wild to watch people like Elizabeth Warren, who's from Massachusetts, which is obviously where the Kennedys are from. Wait, she's not from Massachusetts, but you know what I'm saying. She's a senator. And all these other Democrats that this one Kennedy has sent all of them into paroxysms of meltdown. And now basically their favorite Kennedy is essentially the twink adjacent Jack Schlossberg, Carolyn Kennedy's son, who everyone's like, oh, he looks just like JFK Jr. No, he doesn't, but whatever. That's their favorite Kennedy now, the twink adjacent one, but I digress. Okay, so here, I'm not going to belabor all this. I will insert a few videos, one of with John Cornyn, who is trying to beat Ken Paxton in the upcoming Republican primary for Senate of Texas. That's why he's acting like MAGA and normal right now. But I'm going to insert that here. That quick clip of Kennedy discussing exactly what they did to us during COVID and how many lies they told.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you one example, and I could sit here and give you thousands. But in 2002, CDC did an internal study of Atlanta and Fulton County, Georgia children, and looked at children who got the MMR vaccine on time and compared those to kids who got them later. So in other words, kids who got them before 36 months and kids who got them afterward. The data from that study showed that Black boys who got the vaccine on time had a 260% greater chance of getting an autism diagnosis than children who waited. The chief scientist on that, Dr. William Thompson, the senior vaccine safety scientist at CDC, was ordered to come into a room with 4 other co-authors by his boss, Frank DeStefano, who's the head of the immunization safety branch, and ordered to destroy that data. And then they published it without that fact.
Okay, so that was pretty interesting because, as I mentioned, Cornyn is desperately trying to stave off a primary victory from one Ken Paxton. And Trump has stayed out of that race, and I think he probably will continue to, just out of respect for, the Senate or whatever. But anyway, so here's what Kennedy said, and this is coming from the Vigilant Fox. So a fantastic summary of what Kennedy was talking about was basically that the Rona was completely politicized from day one, and it was done so, we're gonna come to find out, to get rid of one person. So basically what's going on right now is that there's a lot of groundwork being laid to eventually prove that COVID was created in a lab, which we know, but it was not just accidentally leaked. It was probably leaked on purpose to do what? To start getting rid of Trump, to jack up the death rates, to make sure everyone said they died of COVID when they didn't, to force Trump's hand into creating a vaccine and then lied to him about said efficacy of vaccine and said perhaps problems with said vaccine, and then get the mail-in ballots, get the drop boxes, get the harvesters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all to get rid of one person. Here is what the Vigilant Fox summarized this exchange with Kennedy and Cornyn. So basically, we were all lied to about natural immunity. Of course, natural immunity is a thing. Remember the things that Fauci and these dirtbags like Peter Hotez here in Houston would say? Like, oh, natural immunity, like, what's that? It's like, what are you even saying? You mean the thing that we've always had, but whatever. Lied to us about vaccines stopping infection or transmission. Oh, yes. Remember Rachel Maddow telling us that if you get the vaccine, you're not going to pass it along and you won't kill your grandmother. So just do it. Shove your body with that poison. Let's see. Lied to about cloth masks. This one, guys, the mask. These are just pervasive propaganda tools by the left. And at this point, the masks are just talismans for these leftists that want to continue to virtue signal that they're better than us and to signal to their other leftists like, I got you. I see you. We are resisting. Okay, let me continue. CDC let teachers unions dictate school closures. Of course they did. And, you know, if it were up to Randy Weingarten, that under the bridge troll head of the major teacher union, NEA, in this country, they would probably still be doing Zoom classes. Okay. Harvard's Monty Kolotov's silence for opposing boosters. So basically, Kennedy, one of the big things Kennedy was saying and all these questionings was that anyone that was contrary to the company line, this is the most deadly thing since the bubonic plague, and we need to make sure everyone gets shoved through with this experimental medicine. Like, if you had any kind of a pushback, if you said, hey, let's use hydroxychloroquine, let's use ivermectin, it was off with your head. Okay, let's see. FDA's Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause ousted for challenging mandates. Same concept there. And then Biden called it the Trump vaccine and then mandated it. So it was the Trump vaccine until Biden became president. And then it was like, everyone needs to get this. And keep in mind, again, Trump did not mandate this thing. Trump did not tell people, you have to do this, you have to put this in your body or else. No, that was Joe Biden. And that was their goal, obviously. I mean, look at Australia. Australia literally was like totally ready to lock down its citizens, a la concentration camp style. And they wanted it here. So we better be real, real good. Y'all better be real happy about the 20 to 30% of us, yours truly included, who never bought one single bit of bullshit about this and kept pushing back and kept pushing back. Because y'all, 70 to 80% of y'all were just going along. You all complied. How's that feel? Anyway, you're welcome. Okay, and then one more thing about this topic. Oh, actually, I'm going to insert the Liz Warren clip right here because it bears repeating that, you know, a ton of Democrats and evidently a few Republicans like Senator Bill Cassidy receive a lot of money from Big Pharma. So I'm going to insert that here and we'll talk about it.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kendra,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No.
So, okay, you guys, I'm showing this to you. Broya Organics, okay? About 3 months ago, no, like 6 months ago, I started using this stuff. My husband, after about 2 or 3 weeks of it, he goes, your face has a glow. It has a glow to it. I go, really? He was like, yeah, it does. And like I said, I'm years old and I've chosen not to age. It's a personal choice. So you've got to, you know, fight it every way you can. So anyway, I started using these Broya Organics these balms, these little magic balms, and they're little, but you don't need much. And when I tell you, they have a 60-day money back guarantee, but it's like they make you jump through a lot of hoops. Don't even worry about the hoops. You're not going to return this stuff. Froya Organics, Froya organics.com/Angela Bach Show. You get $15 off your first order. Okay, so yeah, Pocahontas, Liz Warren, whatever you want to call her, the 70-year-old woman with admittedly exquisite skin. It's like, okay, Angela, say something nice. She has great skin. Anyway, she sounded like a complete lunatic, as per usual, going after Kennedy. Which brings me to my next story. There is a dark money group that is spending like multi-billions of dollars to try and get rid of Kennedy. And it's signed by, the new letter signed by 15,000 doctors is opposing RFK in a dark money scheme. The allegation that RFK committed felony election fraud in a dark money scheme. Like what? So, okay. This is from, this is a very long thread from a guy named Holden Kulata. I will put the screenshot in here of the original thread. So if you want, you can go look at it. But the long and the short of it is that there's like 15,000 doctors. And keep in mind, in the country, there's like 3 million doctors. So a very small percentage of these doctors that are basically were all probably getting paid during COVID. Because remember, these doctors, they were like getting money for every single time they said someone had COVID. And like, give us more money for that. I mean, it's just, it is so insidious and the scheme is so big. But essentially the long and the short of it is this. And like I said, I will throw you the screenshot of the X post that you could read. Essentially it's this. There's a small group of doctors, the mask doctors, the vaccine doctors, the psychotic doctors who are getting paid, who are working with this billionaire, mostly left-wing, couple of right-wingers in there, including Senator Bill Cassidy, who are desperately trying to get rid of Kennedy. Desperately trying to get rid of Kennedy. And it's like, it's another situation where it's like, you're opposing people understanding how they were lied to. Like, you're opposing people understanding that COVID was created and designed and released onto the public to get rid of one person. Like, you're opposing transparency and showing who actually gets money from big pharma. Like, you're opposing taking out artificial dyes out of our food. Like, what are you even saying, Democrats? And I think the longer this goes on and the more and more is exposed, it is not going to be good for these people. It's just not. It's just not. I mean, it's everything that they're trying to do to get rid of one guy, and anyone that's an ancillary person to Trump, they're going to get rid of too. And I got to tell you, I feel like Kennedy has been red pilled. I think it's a matter of time before he officially changes parties. And he's like Jillian Michaels over there, who has been completely red pilled. And he's probably like, I don't want anything to do with these lunatics anymore. So peace out, Pharma Bros. Okay, real quick, just a couple minutes on this topic because the jig is up, Democrats. The jig is up. So the DC cleanup has gone so well that you have longtime DC residents, many of them minorities, okay? Many of them living in horrific conditions and horrible places in town, the ones that have to deal with the crime the most. And until it started seeping into, white liberal areas of DC, like, they don't care. They don't care. And that's the point, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, is that it took a Republican, nay, an outsider, not really a typical Republican, one Donald J. Trump, to say, people shouldn't have to live like this. And criminals are out on the streets because Democrats have released them onto the streets. And Democrats have not given any consequences for people breaking laws. So people are breaking more and more laws and being more just in your face aggressive about it. And so again, until it starts seeping into white liberal parts of DC, like, did the reporters care? No, of course not. And they're still pretending not to care, even though they are probably secretly happy that this is also happening. Now, it is a success because, and that Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., she has gotten some polling on this. in her internal pollings are like, you better support this lady because Democrats are getting killed on this issue. And so, of course, now she's come out and she says that she wants the DC police to work indefinitely with federal authorities. That means her polling, with her agreeing to go along with this, she's probably gotten a 20-point jump in approval just by working with President Trump to clean up Washington, D.C. Now, it bears repeating that why the hell didn't this lady do it before? Because the Democrat Party didn't want it done. And that's the bottom line of this. And so now Trump is saying, we're going to be expanding this. Obviously, Chicago, Job of the Hut over there is having a meltdown over it every 5 seconds. Brandon Johnson is like, how dare you? Don't you dare. Meanwhile, the residents are like, please, God, come in. And he's going to be expanding it to Chicago and to Baltimore and to New Orleans and to Portland. And, that's just the beginning. Okay. And everyone's like, how's he going to be able to do this? Well, he's going to be able to do it because all of these blue city mayors have already said that they refuse to work with him and cooperate with ICE when it comes to deporting illegals. So because they are now on record saying, we're not going to work with you to follow immigration law, that's the Insurrection Act right there. Boom, boom, done. Take him to court. Prove that you're not purposely destroying your own cities, and we'll see how that shakes out. Now, I think that Trump is so brilliant with this. And why didn't we do this before? It's kind of like, when I talk about good Greg Abbott's intern or whoever told him, you know what you should do? You should start shipping all these illegals to blue states and blue cities. That basically got Trump reelected. But it's like, why didn't we do this before? Because it took Trump to do it. Because the Republicans and the Democrats, the dirty little secret is that the uniparty is a real thing. And for years and years and years, it was like, we'll just look the other way in your blue states and you'll leave us alone in our red states. And Trump's like, no, because there's a lot of good people trapped in these hellholes, trapped in these urban jungles, these ghettos, these horrific high levels of crime. And again, it bears repeating that Democrats, because they're the real racists, they don't give a crap about Black people just stuck in these horrific neighborhoods, generationally committing crimes. But then, probably 80% at least of the people actually living there are good, decent people who don't want to be stuck in a never-ending cycle of violence and failure and sadness and welfare dependency. That's the dirty little secret, ladies and gentlemen. And Democrats have wanted this to continue these many decades. Why? Because it creates dependent people who will then vote for Democrats. It's really not hard. And so the reason these a-hole mayors and governors are melting down over Trump, threatening them all with a good time, the reason why is because he's going in there and he's showing those people that have lived in these hellholes, these hellscapes for so many years. Look how quickly and how easy it is to actually clean this mess up, and to have criminals be put behind bars, and to have mentally ill people be put in facilities that keeps them away from functioning civil society. It's not that hard to do. And so Trump doing this now, the timing is chef's kiss. Why? Because it's almost 2026, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost midterms time. And Trump is going to show these people living in these blue cities and blue states, if you want this to continue long term, you got to get rid of these Democrats, man. You got to 86 them. You got to kick them to the curb. And if JB Pritzker and Gavin Newsom, because these two are like vying it out for prom queen right now for the head bitch in charge of the Democrats, keep in mind that AOC is nipping at their heels and Representative Ratchet wishes she could only wish. But anyway, JB Pritzker and Gavin Newsom are duking it out right now of who's going to be the Democrat standard bearer. And the more these two absolute evil psychopaths talk, the better for MAGA. Okay. So basically Pritzker's out there saying, Trump is he's coming after my people. It's like, well, who are your people? A bunch of illegals and criminals? Like, thank you for telling us what we already know. So Last week, it was Democrats completely opposed photo ID because they think black and brown people are too stupid to get a photo ID to vote. And this week, it's, over our dead body, are you going to come into the city and clean it up and prove what absolute inept, corrupt a-holes we all are? So this is getting fun. I mean, y'all, everything Trump is doing, the Democrats are taking the 3 to 10% side of every issue, like every single issue. And we just sit back. We're just sitting back and we're laughing. We're laughing at all of you because we don't even have to really do much. We're just doing common sense stuff. And you guys are still, running with the trannies and saying everything is racist and misogynistic and whatever. Like, go for it. I have okay, let me show these things to you. Okay, there's these little things. They're called Angel Lift. These were on Shark Tank, you guys. They were on Shark Tank many a year ago. I did not see them on Shark Tank, but evidently they were on Shark Tank. There's these little plastic silicone things that you put them in your mouth, and they say to only do it at 15 minutes at a time. Do you think I follow those directions?
Absolutely not.
No, I do not. I do it overnight. Okay, now they're like, please don't do that. It plumps your lips. It plumps out lines. It totally works. I'm going to insert a screenshot of a before and after that. I was literally shocked. I reached out to the company. I was like, you guys, look at this. And I was like blown away. So I got an affiliate code for you on this too. You're going to get 10% off. It is Angel Lift, ANGELLIFT.com/Angela Box Show. So you can go in, you can put in the code, or you can do that affiliate link and you can do all the things. All right. Okay, everyone is talking about this Kendra and the psychiatrist lady. Now, I admittedly have not watched every single one of this lady's TikToks because there's evidently like 117 of them, like something insane. But I've watched compilations of them, or I've watched, creators deep diving about it. If you don't know what this is, let me see if I can give you the most basic of stories. And I would highly recommend going down a rabbit hole and seeking this out because it's wild.
TikTok last week, I was looking for support. I was looking for help because it had been 5 months since I had left my psychiatrist, and I still really couldn't stop thinking about him and thinking about our dynamic and how inappropriate it was and the mental toll that it took on me. And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past for support when I'm going through things, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse or on providers who take advantage of their vulnerable patients. And so I thought that I would share my story. And I am going to continue to share it because I am here to let other survivors know that they're not alone. Continuing with my story, my psychiatrist set a very nasty, the way he said it, boundary that him and I have a professional relationship when I tried to say it was special. Because it was special, it was different. He manufactured it that way. And then I immediately went to ChatGPT, of course, to Henry. And I asked Henry, I said, okay, so my psychiatrist just set this boundary with me, and I really just want to be with him. And I think that after he's my doctor, we can be together, which if you want to say that's a delusion, that's fine. But I had been telling my psychiatrist for years at this point that I had a crush on him, and he did not help me work through it. So that's his own problem. That's his own fault. Henry told me it's very common for patients to develop crushes on mental health practitioners, and that it's because that they provide a safe space to heal, which is a very attractive quality. I heard that. And then he told me about transference. And it's just about me putting my own feelings onto my provider. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I took ownership of the feelings that both of us were creating. And I went to my next appointment and I said, hey, so I talked to Henry because my psychiatrist had known a lot about my ChatGPT and knew all about Henry and was actually really impressed. Like, wow, an AI wrote that? Yeah. So I told my psychiatrist, yeah, Henry explained to me that it's normal to develop crushes on psychiatrists because they provide a safe space to heal, which is attractive. My psychiatrist said nothing. And then I said, and Henry also told me about transference. And my psychiatrist got this really, really scared look on his face. And he said, did Henry tell you about countertransference? And I said, no. What is that? Because of course, My chat knew that I was obsessed with my psychiatrist, and he was not going to feed my delusion by telling me about countertransference. So then my psychiatrist had to explain to me what countertransference was. So he took a moment and he was like, oh, okay. He said, countertransference is the flip side, the other side of the coin for transference. And it's when the provider has feelings for the patient. So make sure that you keep that in mind for your clients.
Okay, there's this lady. Her name is Kendra. And I would say she's in her 30s. Okay, so is that millennial? Okay, millennial lady, maybe Gen Z, whatever. Suspect right there. Sorry. Listen, if you're normal millennial or normal Gen Z, this does not apply to you. However, the whole crux of my argument against this lady is that she is a typical liberal white woman, and I'll get to it. Anyway, this lady she says that she's a life coach. She's a life coach and she helps people with ADHD. She has ADHD, but she can help you. And if you give her like $3,000 for 3 months of work, like she'll talk to you for 45 minutes every week and like get you through your issues. Okay. Now, point number one, what's wild. This is what's wild. The fact that this lady is trying to advertise her services as like a pseudo therapist, which is all life coaches are. Like, look, I know some of you are like, life coaches have really helped me. Like, listen, I'll tell you what, if you need a life coach, you can call me and I'll be charging you a lot less to tell you what the hell to do. Okay. If you need someone to tell you what to do every single day as you go forward in your life, call me. Here's what I will tell you. Get up early, work out, get your shit done, move on with your day. There you go. There's your life coaching. All right. But anyway, so this lady, Kendra Hilty, I think her name, Kendra Hilty. So she's a life coach and she's advertising her services on Google and all these things. And, there's other videos of people who, again, she charged $3,000 to her friend. She charged $3,000 to help this girl like stay sober, whatever. All right. Basically her friend's like, okay, I'll throw you a bone because you're my friend. But also I just found out all this crazy crap happened. And why am I trusting you to give me advice on anything? Anyway, here's the story. She thought it would be a real good idea to make a kabillion number of TikToks about the fact that she fell in love with her psychiatrist. Okay, so keep in mind, okay, life coach, seeing a shrink. Okay, fine, no big deal. Like we all need help, right? She's seeing a shrink. She's not only seeing a psychiatrist to prescribe her meds, she's seeing a therapist for talk therapy, and then Lord only knows what else. Okay. So she goes into this whole TikTok about how she fell in love with a psychiatrist and her psychiatrist basically led her on and all these crazy things. And the long and the short of it, and this is what anyone who gives you a compilation of this will tell you, is that this is a classic case of transference. All right. The lady is Delulu. And again, the fact that she's like, talking about how she's a life coach and call me, I can help you, is wild. Anyway, the lady's got some issues, okay? And the psychiatrist hasn't done anything. But the long and the short of it is this guy's been doxxed, okay? And people know who he is now, and his family is, I'm sure, having a really fun time. Whatever. The point is that her doctor, the psychiatrist, literally did nothing wrong. But in her mind, she was like, he's in love with me too, and all these crazy things. Okay, now, here's some of the, people are like walking on eggshells about this lady, and I'm not going to, because I'm telling you right now, she is literally the prototype for every liberal white woman you see today. This woman is this is why she made a series of TikToks, because she's like, I'm in the culture and I know that I'm not the only one that, probably still wears a mask. And I'm not the only one who bragged about, getting my COVID vax. And I'm not the only one who wore her Kamala pajama llamas. Okay. So she thinks that she's going to get her tribe to support her on this. Now, her tribe are these people: the mask people, the COVID vaccine people, the people that brag about, I don't know why everyone's making such a big deal about all these immigrants. Like, immigrants are, diversity is our strength. It's like, well, open your door and let one of them live with you then. Anyway, she's literally every liberal white woman stereotype you can possibly imagine. Now, here's what I've noticed, because I watched several people explain this story. None of them want to call that out. None of them. You know why? Because they're all liberal women too. Okay. Liberal white women, liberal black women. People are like, oh, people are triggered because like she had this transference on a person of color, and this person of color has not been doxxed. If you don't know, the doctor is Pakistani origin, whatever. So people put in all their little liberal speak about that. And they don't want to talk about the fact that this woman, these liberal white women, are menaces, and they live among us, you guys. They live among us. They were at every single school board meeting that I went to during 2020 and 2021 when we were bitching about the mask mandates and bitching about the kids being locked down. And even in Texas, they were trying to push this nonsense in these ridiculous liberal school districts. And basically, she's every woman that lives in Westview in Houston. And that is why I think that she felt like it was a safe space. Either she's full on Delulu, which, okay, admittedly, she's probably full on Delulu. And there's something else going on here. Okay. And I'm not making fun of that. I'm not. Please don't get it twisted. I'm not. I'm just pointing out the fact that she used a lot of buzzwords in her TikToks about talking about, people of color, and I'm not trying to trigger any people of color. And her practice, talks about safe spaces and triggers. She uses a lot of those good words. She uses all the words that thirdway.org has now told Democrats to stop using, but they're not getting the memo, which is chef's kiss and really fun for the rest of us. Anyway, I guess I would say this to wrap it up. I'm not making fun of the fact that this woman is Delulu, okay? I'm simply pointing out the fact that she is every stereotypical liberal white woman that you see walking down the street today, when you see with her masks on, because they're still wearing their masks, and their transgender child, she's that lady, okay? She's that lady. And she thought by saying the crap she was saying that she was going to find a tribe of people that are like, yes, sis, yes, he totally led you on. Like, how dare he? How dare he trigger you in a safe space? Like, how dare he? So it's wild, you guys. I mean, if you haven't seen this thing, just Google Kendra psychiatrist. Everything pops up. She's literally still doing life coaching. I couldn't find her website. I'm not here to dox the lady. I mean, she's probably getting it from all sides, but like, she literally still has a life coaching thing, which is a really strange flex. To go on TikTok and blare out to the world that you're that Delulu, that you think your psychiatrist was leading you on and you were in love with him. But sure, pay her $3,000 for 3 months of talking to you once a week for 45 minutes. Like, whatever. Okay, do it. Okay, guys, it was quite an interesting last few days, and it's just going to continue to be amazing. So I'm here for it, and I know you are too. That is where I'm going to leave today's video. Please let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And I'll see you in the next video. Thy will be done. Bye.